Hello, everyone. I'm Krista Moore, and welcome to the Krista Moore Talk Show. This is brought to you by K Coaching and ID Growth. This talk show format is a new way to learn from industry experts and thought leaders as they share their growth ideas and their success stories. I have the pleasure of interviewing Kim Angeli today, and she's the founder of The Grateful Box. Kim started The Grateful Box about 15 years ago after leaving the insurance industry. And it is her life mission to help people and companies develop more of an attitude of gratitude so that they can improve their business and create raving customers and raving fans. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you Kim Angeli. So I wanted you to tell us a little bit, about yourself, a little bit of background. That'd be great.
So I am the creator and founder of The Grateful Box, and I came up with the idea of Grateful Box in 2010 when I was growing my insurance agency. And of course, I shelved it for many years. And then in 2016, I sold that insurance agency and started doing Grateful Box 100%. I live in Charlotte, and I've been in sales and marketing for about 23 years. And my passion is really helping others learn the practice of gratitude and appreciating others, because it really does help you live a better life, and it does really help you retain customers when you show gratitude towards them. So I just have a passion to help business owners and people live their best life.
And I remember you telling me the story about the actual Grateful Box, and your mom had some influence there. I can't really recall exactly where that originated from.
Well, I had started studying gratitude in 2008. On my birthday, she bought me the book The Secret, which talks about the law of attraction and gratitude, and she knew that I read about 50 books a year. I'm one of those people. I don't read much fiction. And so she bought it for me, and I was started studying gratitude, and then I started practicing gratitude, and I just bought a wooden box at Big Lots in Cary, and started writing one note of gratitude in the box a day so that I would be reminded to do it right before I went to bed. I kept it beside my bed.
Yeah, and I know that you took this idea of gratitude and appreciation and the whole box concept and then wanted to build a business around that. So tell us a little bit about your business and what you do with some of your clients today.
So I can't tell you specifically when this became a business. When I was in my insurance business, I basically had been practicing gratitude, and I was researching the benefits of it. And I had a really big client that I had given a Grateful Box to, just off the shelf of Big Lots. And so we just decided that people weren't as grateful as they needed to be and didn't really show appreciation. And I'd been doing that for several years. And so it just we formed a business.
I can only imagine some of the differences that you've seen with customers that you've helped in terms of them starting to have this attitude of gratitude, so to speak. Why don't you maybe describe to us a little bit what companies can do to show gratitude and appreciation specifically, let's say, to their employees, just internally?
Well, there's some really big statistics about gratitude in the workplace. 65% of Americans in the workplace do not feel appreciated. And so when I started appreciating my employees who are spending 40 to 50, sometimes 60 hours a week of their life with me, I think once you can show that appreciation, the statistics also say they're going to be 50% more productive. So I would just randomly do unexpected things, leave a Starbucks card, celebrate birthdays. In the insurance world, you're always working on dates. And so you get busy with that. And so sometimes I would give my employees a teacher work day where they could get caught up, because I wanted to relate with them how busy their life was. And so I think when you can kind of make it about them and how they're helping you build your dreams, it makes you remember how people treated you in the workplace. You don't necessarily remember what your paycheck was. And so I just think that's really important, because if you have happy employees and they pick up the phone, you have happy clients on the other end.
Yeah, I wanted to share with the audience a couple of stories, because you were saying that you remember kind of the actions and how it made you feel, opposed to maybe what your paycheck was. And I'm going to use this as an example for the audience today too, as they're thinking about what can they do better or different internally, maybe with coworkers or peers or with their employees, to start getting into more of a habit of appreciation and gratitude. And I remember distinctly this one day that I came back from 3 days in the field, visiting managers throughout a territory. I'm exhausted, but I still came to the office. It was like 3:30 in the afternoon. And my boss came in and he's like, well, what are you doing here? And I'm like, well, I've got so much work to do and I'm just catching up. And he said, I just want you to know how much I appreciate the hard work that you do. And I'd like you to leave early and take the company credit card and please take your family out for dinner tonight on the company. And I remember feeling great, about him allowing me to do that. And it was a small act of kindness and words of appreciation. But I was sitting here, with that 15 years later, I still remember that. And I remember how it made me feel. In particular, I remember thinking, gosh, he's really smart, because that motivated me for at least another 6 months, maybe way more than anything else that he could have done. So I really can resonate with what you're talking about in terms of remembering how it makes you feel, because at the end of the day, that's really what made the difference.
And it doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't
Right.
have to be something like you gave them a winning lottery ticket, which would be nice, but it doesn't have to be huge. It just has to be heartfelt and sincere.
Yeah, and I think that was the difference. Sometimes when we're teaching motivation to a lot of our clients, we'll make sure that they include in that statement that I do appreciate you, and I really, thank you for the business that you do. And just a couple of more sentences when you're doing an act of kindness can make a really big difference.
Absolutely.
So let's maybe list a couple of tips or techniques that you think that maybe they can write down right now, that simple things that they could do internally for employees. You mentioned birthday remembrance, and you were talking about kind of time off, or teacher's time off, teacher's day, I think you called it. Anything else that you've used or you think would be good for them to remember?
I say as a busy business owner, we all are running around trying to run the business. And when I learned to kind of take a deep breath and be mindful that my employees had families and get to know who they are and get to know some of their hobbies, and then tailor, maybe if they're into tennis, make their unexpected gift around tennis, or you just basically get to know them and do the unexpected. I've been known to let the office go when I ran the office and say, it's beautiful outside, why don't you go home? I can answer the phone, right? I mean, not all of us can do that, but just really getting to know them and maybe tailoring the unexpectedness to them. I've done Starbucks cards, like dinners like you just did. I've taken them out to lunch. And if we want a big account, celebrating that things with your employees and taking the time to do it makes a difference.
Yeah, you were mentioning about cards and notes, and I'm also recalling a time that I closed a big deal for the company. This was when I was in sales, and it was early on in my career. And my boss actually wrote a note to me, just a small little memo telling me what a great job it was and how much he appreciated my hard work. And I had that, I swear, posted in front of me for like the next 5 years. Just that small act made a big difference in terms of my motivation and really liking my boss and wanting to do continued good work for him.
Right.
So that in itself, as I'm thinking with the folks on the line, think about internally, maybe it's a coworker or maybe it's an employee and you're the boss, but is there someone that maybe you could take that one extra step and be really mindful? And maybe it is a thank you note or a gift card or a day off or something in reward. So let's move on to appreciation and gratitude for our customers and our clients, kind of extending it outside of the internal employee. Tell us a little bit about some ideas or thoughts that they could take away today that would really help them kind of create a loyalty plan or a retention strategy.
Well, I'll give you some of the statistics first if you want me to share. So 68% of your clients might leave you or leave your business and quit doing business with you because they feel like you're indifferent or they might not care. And so, obviously I say it's cheaper to keep the customer. So I think about with my clients in a 12-month period, we all tend to think about our customers at Christmas time, and we all want to send that Christmas basket. But I want to change the mindset of the business owners and the salespeople that I work with, that maybe we want to do something a little unique consistently over 12 months. And so some of the strategy around that is, one of the ideas that I do is we want to thank them right after the sale. I work with a lot of insurance agencies naturally because I was an insurance agent for 15 years. And so I always say, well, how do you thank that customer after you sold that insurance policy? How do you thank them for just a pure thank you? And so I encourage them to just send that thank you note. Thanks for being a member of our family, and thanks for entrusting us for your insurance needs. Or the realtor, that realtor, after they take the sign out of the yard and they've sold your home, what does that look like after the closing gift? So those are some of the ideas that I help them with. And you would want to touch them over a 12-month period so that you stay top of mind with that customer. And there's a lot of strategy around that being about them. 80% of the marketing, 80% of the touches being about building the relationship, and then 20% of the touches being about marketing. So we have an 80-20 rule that we all know and love, but 80% being thanking them, appreciation, gratitude, and then 20% maybe selling something of value to them.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip for everybody to leave today on a number of fronts, especially when it comes to the communications that they would have with their prospects as well as their current customers, that 80-20 rule. There's a lot to say for the customers receiving messages that are more valuable, that are speaking their language. We call it the you language instead of the we language. And that way the customers are feeling like you care about them, you're speaking specifically to them, and not just trying to always sell them something or shove something down their throat. So
Right.
I think that's great advice for any marketing campaigns that they might be doing for existing clients as well as prospects. Something that I was thinking about too, with a lot of the audience, they're business owners and salespeople and in a variety of industries. We do have a lot of insurance agents on the line today, as well as business-to-business supplies and furniture. And I think too, when they land that first account, getting that, we call it a new customer starter kit, so to speak. It's what's the wow gift that they get immediately that sets the tone for how things are going to be handled throughout that relationship. And then we're constantly encouraging them to put together kind of a 90-day, it's kind of a 90-day welcoming where you put the white gloves on and you give them that type of service so that they have a terrific first impression, and then that can hold off for a long period of time. I remember you telling me this story when we first met about the ice cream truck. And so why don't you share that with your audience?
So I believe that I would do gratitude calls to my customers. I believe, reaching out to them in kindness and just saying, how's it going? And so one day I reached out to one of our top customers, and I just called to ask her, how things were going, and just to get some feedback. I think it's very, very important to get feedback, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent from your customers. And I told her that she was the lucky winner of an ice cream truck, that we really wanted to show appreciation for her business, and that I had coordinated with, I have a gentleman that does ice cream trucks. This was specifically in Raleigh, and that we had 5 Fridays in June, and she could pick from those Fridays, and we would send the ice cream truck out for her employees. She could call it an Employee Appreciation Day. She could call it whatever she wanted to. We were going to pick up the tab for the ice cream truck. And this was just really a way for us to show appreciation for her business. And she was just blown away. She was like, I've been in business 17 years, and I have never had a vendor think outside of the transaction at that level. And so I think it's just really thinking about how that would make you feel if you pay, especially, she's paying thousands of dollars of insurance to us a month. They think of you every month when they pay that insurance bill, or they pay that, my landscaper, or anybody that has a recurring bill for you. And so how have you reached out to the kindness in them to let them know that they matter beyond the transaction? And so that was in the middle of the summer, so it was kind of outside of Christmas, and it was very impactful.
Yeah, and something about that really resonates with me is you gave the gift to, let's say, the buyer or your main contact, but that gift was spread throughout their company and in turn made her look really good, really made her look great within her own organization. And so that was like an extra little kick of gratitude, I think, for her employees.
And I encourage that with my customers. I say, let's do the 3 touches to the customer and thank them. Maybe celebrate a life event like a birthday or an anniversary for realtors, like buying a house. And then find out what events they're having in the next 12 months and see if you can do a sponsorship with them and go, right? Go and get to know the employees, get to know the customer. Because I've found that once you get to know your customer at that level and they look at you somewhat like a peer, it's really hard to fire you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to let go of that person who's gotten so entwined in your business and can speak your language in your business. If someone comes along and says, well, I've got a better product, they're like, oh, well, I can't call Kim.
Yeah, that's when the relationship really matters. Something also that I heard you speak about was this whole concept of grumpy to grateful strategy, or how to talk with the unhappy clients and how to put kind of a strategy around that. What does that all mean?
Well, so when I speak in front of groups, I always ask everyone, so how many of you have had 100% of your transactions with your customers go well? And of course, I get loud laughter. Because none of us have always had all of the transactions with our organizations go well. But it's not really that the transaction was perceived as less than stellar, it's how you react to it. So I taught my staff, and they have to feel safe to bring you that something didn't go so well, that I wanted to know when a customer was not happy. And what would happen is I would make a phone call as a leader of the organization to the person who was grumpy, and I would say, we really appreciate you bringing this to our attention. It makes us be a better business owner, knowing what may or may not be going well. And I would have a conversation about how can you help us, walk us through how we can be better. And then I would end the conversation, but I did not stop the interaction there. I would make a point to send out a card. Now, depending on how large the perceived yucky was, it would maybe a $5 Starbucks card or 10. I would send out a note of gratitude to them and say, hey, we just appreciate you. Have a coffee on us. You made us be a better business owner, and we really appreciate you bringing it to our attention and making it about them. Because people like to help, and acknowledging that they're helping you. Statistically, if you did not do that, you run the risk of that person going out into the marketplace and they will tell 39 people or go on social media that you're terrible. And so what happens when you reach out to them in kindness, I study the subconscious mind, subconsciously they like you. And so then when they see your company name or see your name, they can't not go out and spread ill will about you because you've thanked them for helping you be a better business. And so it's just a great strategy telling them thank you for telling us that, we sucked in that moment, right? Which is a strong word, but it's really just going the extra mile to acknowledge them for helping you be a better business.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that that's a great lesson for everyone on the line to hear too, because sometimes we let those customers just go by the wayside and hope we never even have to see them again potentially, or kind of face them, so to speak. But I'm going to challenge everyone on the call today to write down about 4 or 5 customers that you feel maybe they received some poor service, or that you need to reach back out to them with an act of kindness in some way, and make those phone calls. Or perhaps you put together a little campaign. I'm thinking about someone on the line that I know did this with their customers. They have these small little plants, especially great in the springtime. You can put them right on your desk, and they've taken them out to customers that they've lost or haven't purchased in a long period of time, and kind of give them as a gift, tell them we miss your business, we appreciate you, and what can we do to grow again together. So kind of have something that connects with maybe a little gift or something. Could make it kind of exciting. I've seen people also drop off seeds, like little packets of seeds, like planting the seed, or fresh flowers. Let's get a fresh start. But maybe correlate that with a gift, and that could be a great campaign for retention and for getting customers back and showing that you're grateful. Something I wanted to ask you too is the actual box. Why don't you show us what that looks like, and tell us how you use that in business, or what you see some of your clients or customers using that for.
So this is the Grateful Box that my business partner helped get out of my head and into physical reality. Thank you, Joy Harris. And so we encourage, I have people that purchase these, and then they give them to their customers to tell them that they're grateful for them as a client. And we've developed a little note that goes in the top of the box that they can write a note of thanks to their customer, and they either hand them out or we ship them out for them. And then the customer, they love them because they either put them on their desk, and then they use the Grateful Box itself as you write one note of gratitude in the box and place it in there every day, or if they're in a stressful situation, they can stop what they're doing and write gratitude and kind of shift their mindset to, from kind of stressful to grateful. And so what happens is that box sits on their desk, and every time they see it, or it sits in their home, they have a happy thought with the person that gave it to them. And so it's just a unique gift, and then it becomes a personal development tool for the person you gave it to if they want to use it in that manner. And so realtors love them. We have speakers that give them away. I have a financial planner that bought 40 of them, and he got 21 thank you notes, and he said, Kim, I've not gotten a thank you note for a gift in years. And so that's just really a good top of mind, but it's really just saying you're grateful and you appreciate them for doing business with you.
Yeah, and I think I remember seeing on your website that you had, can't you customize them or something? You can actually.
We will make this box in any PMS color and put your logo here as a unique gift. And we do have the logo on the top trademark, so that always stays the same, but you can make it whatever you'd like to and then give them away customized.
Yeah, love that idea. Thank you. Well, I wanted to make sure that it was okay with you that we shared some of your contact information, and if anyone wants to reach out to you, call you, or check out your website, that they'd be able to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. And I understand, too, that you have an app that people can download. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a picture of it here, I believe, so we'll show that to you.
So last year, I have a technology background, and I'm somewhat of an early adopter of technology. I say I'll have the first robot cleaning person in my closet. So we adopted this technology, which is really not a closed app. It's a communications tool. And so it's really like a broadcasting channel, kind of like you're doing this radio show. We can broadcast to the people who have subscribed to our app, which is in the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. And so it is our intention to help people live a more grateful life we send one little note out a day that just kind of gives you some food for thought on how you can incorporate gratitude or mindfulness or appreciation into your daily life. But it also is not just for us. We have people that download the app and then they create their own broadcasting channel. There's different channels on our app. And then when people download our app across the world, it is a global app, then they can see you as well. And our goal with this app is to have 1 million users. We own the app, we own the content, we're the Mark Zuckerberg of it, because I believe data should be owned by the person who wants to use it. And so we're just in a mission to help people live better lives and how do you start the practice of gratitude. And we just send one little note of hope every day and just encourage people. But then you can go on there and be seen as well. So I encourage you to download it and just kind of look around and put your picture on there. And then and you can communicate with us through the chat feature, which is HIPAA compliant and encrypted. So you can chat with the leadership of Grateful Box through the app, kind of like the Facebook chat.
Yeah, that sounds great, Kim. And I just wanted to thank you, and I am truly grateful that you joined us today. And I appreciate some of the tips and techniques that you gave our group, and hoping that everyone can kind of get more into that habit of having a better attitude towards gratitude and showing that to others. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. I'd like our audience to mark their calendar for the Krista Moore Talk Show for the third Wednesday of every month. I'm going to continue to bring you special guests and business growth ideas. Our website is up and running, fully functional now, KristaMooreTalkShow.com, and you can register there anytime for upcoming shows as well as listen to past events. So April 19th, we have Amy Brown, which many of you may know Amy. From ECI, she's going to be talking about the importance of mobile ordering and really giving us a good understanding about how the buying practices have changed, and we have a lot more customers ordering mobile and making sure that you're ready to accept those orders that way. At K Coaching, we care about you, and we certainly care about your success. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next month.